Welcome to the Course Instructor module of the C3 Orientation for Staff. This module is going to give you everything that you need to know about being a course instructor within the C3 program. This introduction video will just walk you through the basic components of your job description in this role, and that will kind of lead the way to build into this as we move on to future activities and videos. As a course instructor, you're going to be basically in charge of 4 components. You're going to be looking at attendance, you're going to be looking at keeping track of students, you're going to be looking at the grading, and the communication with families. So the first thing that we're going to look at is attendance. And essentially how attendance will work in the C3 program is that you're going to keep tabs of your attendance on a spreadsheet that will just need to be updated at the end of the week. There are going to be attendance check-ins built in as really quick, simple formative assessment questions. And if the students submit the answer to the question throughout the week for each of the attendance check-ins, they will be able to be marked at or present for all of those days. So ultimately what you're going to do is at the end of the week, you'll look specifically at the attendance check-ins for that week, and you'll determine how many of those were completed by the students. Your spreadsheet will then be reviewed by an attendance secretary, where they will then mark the days absent within Skyward. All right, so ultimately, it doesn't matter which day the students complete the work. It's just going to be at the end of the week, they need to have those check-ins completed to be able to get marked as being present for all the days for your course then. Next thing we're going to look at is completion tracking. So every course is going to have a weekly pacing guide posted at the top of the course page. And then essentially that pacing guide is going to be put in an archive folder similar to what the high school is doing right now. Ultimately, this pacing guide is going to include all of the things the students should be able to complete by the end of the week, and it will help the students determine if they are able to meet their goals for the week. As a part of completion tracking, you're going to have to activate content to be active for the students for that week. So you'll need to do this by 8 a.m. each Monday, and that's going to be for any of the content that the student would complete that week. As a part of this, you'll also make sure the due dates are set, and you're going to turn on completion tracking. You may not have used completion tracking in your regular courses, but we're going to turn it on for the C3 program because it allows you to monitor students a little bit easier, and it'll help the students determine if they're on pace or not as well. And then you're also just going to use these tools to monitor the student progress, and which will lead into the communication aspect and helping students stay on track. Next, we're going to look at grading. Each week there's going to be 2 to 4 formative assessments built into your lessons. The goal is that these are just different things that you can use to give feedback for students and hold them accountable for the content that they're learning at their own pace. Our goal is that the grades should be transferred to Skyward by 5 p.m. each Friday, or whatever the end of the week is. The goal is that for the next week, those grades are pulled into the reports for ineligibility. So if students are not keeping their grades up, then it's being tracked with all the other students in the high school as well. If for some reason you can't get the grades finished by 5 p.m. on Friday, as long as those grades are up to date by Monday morning, they truly will be good to go, and they'll be able to get pulled into those reports then with the other students. And then finally, we have our communication expectations. Your goal is to communicate up to 2 hours each week. These could be individual calls to students. You could set up help sessions where you're just available to help students. These could be times where you're sending emails to different families, or you can set up video conferences with families. Ultimately, we just want to have communication regularly available so students and parents know that they have support from our teachers as they're going through the courses. In addition to these 2 hours, just be mindful you also have resources where you can post updates in Schoology. Anything that you post as an update in Schoology shows up on the student's homepage and also sends them a notification. So this could be a way to either send like a weekly announcement or just any announcement that you want to just give reminders to as students get through the week then as well. And then just as a reminder, we did this in the other module as well for the course developers, but just remember to utilize your resources. You have your content and your strategies that you already use with your in-person students. A lot of these things can be transferred and rethought to be used in an online format, so you don't necessarily need to recreate the wheel. You have a lot of technology resources that are available to you to facilitate the learning with your students. And then you also have instructional technology support. We're here to help you basically find the most efficient ways to facilitate the online courses and to help with the overall design of the courses as well to make everyone's life a little bit easier. Thank you for signing up to be a part of this program. We think that this really is going to open the doors for future potential with students and how we run our educational programs. At this point, you can move on to the next part of your training whenever you're ready.